Hello, everyone. Um, I thought I would film a little yin yoga session for you today. My body and my mind is definitely craving it, bit scattered, uh, and I definitely need something. My my body is really tight. Not moving the way I usually move, and stress does interesting things to our bodies. So, for me, it's something I've been um, needing to do today. And I also felt the need to give to you. Um, so, a little bit of yin yoga. All you need is a comfortable place to rest. So, you could do it on the floor, just on your carpet. If you've got a hard floor, I'd maybe recommend getting out your yoga mat. And then maybe also a blanket to lay down on. So today's yin yoga session, I thought I would make it really simple in the fact that there's no sitting up, just laying down, and poses that are really simple to do. And yeah, we'll go from there. We'll finish off with some shavasana as well. Have some music going. So I hope you have a time to just take out for yourself, fill up your own cup, and or do a little bit yin. If you haven't done yin before, so yin yoga involves holding shapes for longer periods of time. So they're shapes that are generally supported. So the laying down or sitting down. There's a few that we do standing, but not very many. And it's holding the shapes in a way that there's a little bit of discomfort, but we don't want to be overwhelmed with being uncomfortable because then we're exciting the nervous system as opposed to calming it down, which is what we're trying to do. At the same time as relaxing our connective tissue. So there's a little bit of, we want to feel it because if we feel it, we know there's something happening, but it doesn't want to be overwhelming. It's something we call the Goldilocks shape or the Goldilocks position when we're there. That it's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just right for you. And everybody is different and everybody feels the shapes differently. So you might find one shape that is really tight for your body and you really struggle to get into it, and that's okay. And you just modify it to work for you. Do as much or as little as you need, which is really important. So yin is really about getting into our bodies and noticing how we feel, managing our mental state. So instead of getting caught up with our thoughts and our inner dialogue that tends to ramp up, especially at this time when we're not as busy as we normally are. So there's that time where it's good to slow down, but then other things start to creep in for us. And that internal dialogue is something that you usually get to squash down with busyness. And if we're not busy, we tend to listen to it a little bit more, and you just tend to notice how you talk to yourself and the thoughts that keep popping up. So, with the poses in yin, it's about staying with the body, so staying present and continually checking in on how the body is responding and working with it in that way rather than getting caught up with what's going on in your mind. So we want to have a calm and still body, a calm and still breath, and a calm and still mind as we go through. So please enjoy, and yeah, we'll start off. We're going to lay down the entire time. So you can do this any time of day. You can do it over and over again. So it'll be stuck in the group. And whenever you need it, you can just come back to it. And that is my gift to you today. So come on down. Let's lay down. I'm just going to have to change the angle of the computer so you can see me laying down. So just lay down with your feet on the floor. So you've got an A-frame with your legs, just draw the chin towards the throat. Relax the shoulders away from your ears. And just allow the back of your body to sink into the ground. Just if you want to, closing down your eyes, you could place your hands on your belly. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And then exhale through the nose. Making it slow breath in and a slower breath out. I'm just going to turn on some music for us. So as you lay here, just noticing how the body is feeling today. And we're going to start just by drawing both knees in towards your chest. Now, some people can hold on over the top of their shins, and you just interlace your fingers and place them over the top. For some of us, that doesn't work. So you can just place your hands at the back of your thighs and draw your knees in. And when we're here, we're just going to draw little circles with our toes. So moving through the ankles, just noticing the shoulders, relaxing the back of the body. And then take that the other way. And now we're going to bring the ankles to being still, and we're going to work through the hips. So just want you to draw little circles one way with your knees on the ceiling. And then let's take it the other way. Just as you're rolling through, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Just noticing how the hips are feeling and the lower back. How does it feel to move? Then coming back to being still. Just holding the knees in. So having both knees into chest, Apanasa, is a really good release for any tension through our sacrum. So releases around through the sit bones and then up through the tailbone. Can also help with your digestion as it massages the digestive system. You may notice that as you breathe in, you're pressing your ribs and your belly up against your thighs, creating some pressure. Then as you exhale, just releasing and noticing the belly sink. So really simply, if you just concentrate on that movement of the breath, the connection of the belly onto the thighs, so we're going to take it now into a single leg knee to chest. So if you could take your left leg and lengthen it out and draw your right knee in towards your chest. Now, at the moment, it'd be good to have the knee in line with your rib cage and your earlobe. We're just going to take that knee to the outside a little bit, so just take it away from the body. Just open up the hip and then return the knee back. As you bring the knee back, make sure the knee is in line with your earlobe and your rib cage and through the hip line. So instead of having the knee hanging out to the side, make sure it's in over the top of the body. With your left leg, just allow your left toes to hang out to the side, and both legs are really heavy into the floor. Allow your shoulders to drop away from your ears. Draw your chin towards your throat. Allow your right heel to be really heavy towards the bottom. So instead of holding it up here, try letting it go and just make the foot really floppy. Now you may feel a little bit of pinching on the inside of the hip where you're compressing your hip flexor. If that's too intense for you, just allow the knee to go out wide a little bit and just release some tension. Remember, we want to feel what's going on, but we don't want to overload the nervous system. So we want to allow the right thigh bone to sit heavily into the hip socket. So you're letting the hips drop into the floor like concrete. They're really heavy. Now you can close down your eyes if that feels good for you. Start to notice how this shape feels for you. Are you still breathing slow and deep? So with Yin Yoga, we're focusing on the movement of energy or chi through our bodies. And the energy moves through what we call meridian lines. So the meridian channels are just simply channels that the energy moves through our body, from our feet all the way up to the crown of our head and back down. And occasionally, there becomes a block in the energy channel, in the meridian line. And that's what we can feel in our bodies, some stiffness or some uncomfortableness. And that stuckness has impacts on both our physical body and our mental and emotional body as well. So with Yin Yoga, our aim is to move the energy through. We want to make sure both hips are flat on the floor. And we're trying to stay as still as we can. And if we do have to move, our movement is slow and considered. So the stillness of the body is important. We want to relax the muscles and the connective tissue completely. And we become aware of where we start to hold on to tension. Now I'm going to invite you to increase this shape just a little bit more if you want to. So we're going to bring the right knee in towards the breastbone. So using your right hand, just push the knee in, just to as far as it works for you. Now that may create way too much tension for you. And then if that's the case, you just ease back to where you've got a little bit of uncomfortableness, something you can work on with a calm breath. So the meridian lines are associated with our organs. And so with this particular shape, we can work on the spleen meridian. And emotionally, when there's a block in the spleen meridian, it might lead to poor concentration or cloudy thought process. You know, like where it's just feeling like you've got a fog. And I know that I've been feeling like that. I also find this shape really effective if I've got a tight hip flexor. So right now we're compressing the hip flexor, and as we compress it, we're going to draw fluid into the hip joint. When we release the shape, we're going to release that compression, and that fluid floods the joint. Just continually checking the body to making sure that both legs are relaxed, the shoulders are soft, the jaw is relaxed, the abdominals are switched off. So gently, just ease the right leg back to the center, and then taking both hands off, just slowly release the right leg and let it lengthen out over the floor. And we just stay here for a few breaths. Just noticing how the right leg feels, or the right side of your body. You may find there's a little bit more heaviness at the back of the hip. So now we're simply going to bring that onto the other side. So bring the left knee in, interlace the fingers over the top of the shin or at the back of the leg if that's better for you. With your right leg, just allow the toes to hang out to the edge and just relax the hips into the floor. Have a little bit of a wiggle if you need to, just to let everything go. Draw the chin towards the throat so the back of the neck is long. And then we're going to release the knee out to the side, just to open the hip, and then slide the knee back in again. Holding on over the shin and just pulling the left knee in as much or as little as you require. Once you've found the right shape for you, that Goldilocks sensation, there's a little bit of work that you can feel. The time now is to release the body into the floor. So allow your left heel to be really heavy towards the back of your thigh. Shoulders are soft. The jaw is relaxed. Soften your abdominals. So let go of the belly again. And focus the breath pushing up into the left leg. Rolling the tailbone down towards the floor. Breathe in for a count of 8. And breathe out for a count of 8. Making sure that left knee is in line with the earlobe or the top of the ribs. Not letting it hang out to the side. Unless it's too much for you here, then by all means, let it slide out a little bit. So what can you feel here? If you drop into your body, are you holding on to tension anywhere? Have you relaxed your legs? Have you relaxed your belly? Can you allow your left hip, your thigh bone, to sit into the left hip a little bit deeper? So if you find your mind wanders off to remembered pasts or imagined futures, bring yourself back to where you're lying, on the floor, on the mat. What can you feel? So we're continuously bringing ourselves into our bodies to create awareness. So I'm going to invite you, if you wish, to draw that left knee a little bit closer towards the breastbone. Then draw the knee in, relax the shoulders again. Just to where it feels right for you. And if at any time it gets way too much, you just simply ease off a little bit. So with Yin Yoga, it's all about surrendering. We want to yield into the pose. If we take just another 5 breaths here. So breathing in slowly through the nose and out through the nose. So breathing in and out. 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. One more. So on your next in-breath, just gently releasing the knee away from the heart. Taking the hands away and gently placing the left foot on the floor to start. And then just sliding the left foot out over the ground. So as you've released the shape, what does it feel like in the front of your left hip? So our next shape is what we call our banana shape or our banana pose. And it's a wonderful stretch along the side of the body. So all the way from the IT band that runs along the outside of your leg, all the way up over the hip, through the obliques and the intercostals on the side of the ribs. And it's simply making a shape like a banana. So we're going to start just by picking up our feet and bringing them over to the left side. And then taking your arms. Now you can hold your elbows, or you could have long arms above your head. Or if that feels uncomfortable, bring your arms down by the sides. Now I want you to bend through the body, but you've got to keep your hips on the floor. So you don't want to go so far that your right hip comes off the ground. You want to keep both hips level. And you just create the bend for yourself, keeping down the back shoulder and the hip. Now you could take your ankles over the top of each other and you could play which one feels better for you. So you could take your left ankle over your right or your right ankle over your left. It really does depend on you. So when you've found the right shape for you, I'm going to change. Just allow the hips to be really heavy. Closing down your eyes. And you just want to melt into this banana shape. So let all the tension from your body melt down into the mat. If it ever gets uncomfortable with your hands above your head, you can always just peel the banana and bring the arms down the side of your body. So focusing on your breathing. So making sure that both legs are heavy. So we want to think about releasing the bones into the floor. If we let go of the bones, our connective tissue can soften and let go because they've got nothing to hold on to. And notice what it feels like down the right side of your body. So the side that's getting lengthened. So where can you feel it? I love this shape. It's so simple. And you can stay in this shape for as long as it works for you. You may find that over time, what you feel in your body changes. So sometimes the uncomfortableness or the tightness, the tension, it moves around, and that's okay. It's just being aware of it. And how can you help to let go of that tension? Through your breath and actively switching off the muscles in your body. So how heavy can you make your hips? Two more breaths. So we're gently going to start to move back to the center. So if you've crossed your ankles over, just untangle them and walk the legs gently back into the middle. And just bring the arms back into the center as well. And just lay on the floor, noticing how that side of your body feels that you've just lengthened. So for me, that shape has just, enabled me to move through some tension that's been aggravating me around the outside of my hip. And I can still feel that at the moment. But that's okay, it's nothing wrong. It's just lengthening out the connective tissue. So we're simply going to take that shape to the other side. So walk the feet over to the other corner of the mat and then walk the arms over and just bend the body like a banana. It might be less or it might be more on this side. And then if you'd like to, you could pick up the left ankle over to the right leg or swap it over. Just play with it, work out which one works best for you. And that's the beauty, of our yoga, really. We modify the shapes to suit us. We don't modify us for the shape. So closing down your eyes and letting the whole weight of your body sink into the floor. So breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Making sure the arms and the shoulders are heavy, the back of the ribs, the back of your hips, your heels of your feet. So you can direct your breath over to the left side of the rib cage and accentuate that release through the intercostals and through the obliques as well. So keeping connected with your breath is really important. So is your body as relaxed as it could be? Are you allowing your left hip to sink into the floor? Two more breaths. So very gently with the next in-breath, just bring your feet back to the center. Your arms back and just laying in a straight line along the mat or over the floor. Just keep the toes turned out, the hips are heavy, draw the chin to the throat. Just gently, if your arms are above your head, just bring them down, lay them next to the body. So our next and our final shape before Shavasana is to coming into our reclined twist. So what we're going to do is walk the feet in onto the floor and have the legs in an A-frame. If you pick up your hips off the floor and just slide them to the right side and place the hips down, then pick up your feet and drop your knees across to the left. If you find a lot of pulling on this top hip, you could place a rolled up towel or a cushion in between your knees just to stop the knee falling down so far and pulling down, okay, which is going to increase the lengthening over the hip. So just get the legs at a comfortable spot. If you need more, you can always bring the knees up higher towards the chest or push them away. Play with it and see what's better for you. You can also drop the top knee down if you're looking for a little bit more, and that will get a little bit more into your lower back as well. But just be careful that you're not going too far. Now with this left shoulder, the same direction of the knees, pick that shoulder up off the floor and roll the shoulder blade out from underneath you. Take your arms out wide, or you might want to work with cactus arms with the elbows bent. You can bring the arms close to your body as well. And your eyes can go either way. So once you've found your shape, take a breath in. And as you exhale, just completely let go into the floor. Relax your fingers, so let them curl. Relax your feet. Now I find it tricky here to completely relax my legs. So we've got to let that bottom leg be really heavy into the floor. So it involves switching off the muscles along the inside and then allowing this top leg to be supported by the bottom leg. So here, in terms of our meridians, we're working our urinary bladder meridian, which runs down the back of the body, and we're also working our gallbladder meridian, which runs over the side of the body. So with our urinary bladder meridian, we might find that if we're holding on to anger at the moment, so there might be a little block in there. And our inability to express our emotions, which if there's a lot of emotions going on at the moment, it could be really understandable. And with the gallbladder meridian, so breathing into the top ribs and exhaling completely. And every time you exhale, allow the body to be even heavier. Stay connected with your body and notice if there's any tension along the inside of your thighs, and maybe you need to see if you can release the legs into the floor. Allow gravity to press down upon you. So as said with yin, it is about yielding or surrendering. So we surrender to gravity. We just let it do all the work for us. We spend all day pushing up against it to stand and to sit. And here, we can just give in. So there's no resistance, there's no pushback. So are you as relaxed as you possibly can be here? Are you letting go? And as you do that, what do you feel? So where do you feel some uncomfortableness in your body? Focus your breath towards that uncomfortableness. And as you exhale, let it go. 2 more breaths. So very gently, if you've got a cushion or a blanket or a towel rolled up in between your knees, take that out. And then just gently in your way, bring yourself back to the center and just sliding the hips back into the middle. Just re-center yourself on the mat. Simply checking in with the right side of your body and just noticing how that was feeling. So we're going to take that shape and we're going to go to the other side. So with your feet on the floor, lift your hips up and scoot your hips across to the left. Pick up your feet and bring your knees over to the right. Pick up your right shoulder, slide it out from underneath you. Arms can come close to the body, they can go out at 90 degrees, or you could make cactus arms as well. You might want to change this time. Your eyes can go to the left or to the right, to the ceiling. Remember, you can bring the knees up closer towards you. You can push them away from your hips if you need to. You can drop the top knee over onto the floor if that's better. Just finding the shape that works for you. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Just letting go with each breath. Allowing the knees to be heavy, one on top of the other. And it's okay if you're feeling a little challenge to get everything to relax. That's okay. Some days and some shapes are easier to let go in than others. It's all about just accepting where we are for today and surrendering into it. So staying present on the mat. Just noticing where there's tension. Long, deep breaths in and out through the nose. With every out breath getting a little bit heavier. So releasing tension through the fascia, one of our connective tissues. So not just releasing tension in our muscles, in our skeletal muscles, our ligaments and tendons, but also in the fascia. I like to think that when the fascia is stiff, it's that general stiffness around a joint that you might feel, or that ache of stiffness that you get throughout the day. Rather than in the belly of a muscle. So 2 more breaths. So gently starting to come back towards the center. Sliding the hips back into the middle. Now we're going to finish off with a little bit of Shavasana. So Shavasana could be done with your feet on the floor. And I usually recommend taking the feet as wide as your mat and let your knees come together. You could take your legs out long. Just allowing the toes to turn out to the corners. And rest your arms down by the sides with the palms up or little finger side down. You could also place your hands on the base of your belly to connect with your breath. Just relax your shoulders, draw the chin towards the throat. So with our Shavasana, we're trying to stay awake but relaxed. So I can feel the back of our heels pressing into the floor. Notice the heaviness of your legs, the weight of your hips as they sink into the ground. The connection of the back of your ribs on the floor, your shoulder blades, and the back of your head. Softening the muscles around your face and your jaw. And letting that softness trickle down over the front of the neck, across the collarbones, over the front of the ribs, softening the belly. If your mind wanders off to remembered pasts or imagined futures, just bringing yourself back to where your body is right now. Bring yourself back to your breath. Now you're more than welcome to stay in Shavasana for as long as you would like. The beauty of yin is we've been in a relaxed state throughout the poses. So we just start to move the toes and the fingers. Just gentle movement. Then bring the knees in towards the chest. Once again, you could rock from side to side, or you could make little circles with your knees. Then we're going to roll over onto one side. And then in your own time, don't have to follow me right now, in your own time, bringing yourself up to a comfortable seated position. So thank you very much for joining our yin session today, whenever you are watching it. Sending you love from my heart to yours. Coming up. So namaste. And I will see you soon. We'll do more yin. We might add in some seated shapes to come up with. So I'll see you soon.